This is Vijay from SLAT 100, and here we are going to discuss all 12 legal reasoning questions which were asked in slot 2 of SLAT 2023 that was conducted on 14th of May. Here is the first question. A abuses B by which B is provoked. Because of this provocation, B takes out a gun and shoots at A. Here the bullet hits C, who is out of sight but is standing near A. C dies. Here B did not intend or know that bullet would hit C. Alright, B has committed. Almost any sane person straight away eliminated no offense and murder. Then the entire test taking population got divided in two groups. One, death by negligence, and the second, culpable homicide not amounting to murder. And the verdict goes in favor of culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Look at this exact illustration given in the bare act of the Indian Penal Code. So, let's try to understand that why is it culpable homicide. If you look at the definition of culpable homicide in section 299 of the Indian Penal Code, it's given very clearly that even if intention is not there but knowledge is there, that is sufficient for you to get indicted. Alright, and here the knowledge need not be person specific. He didn't have this knowledge that the bullet would hit C. But did he have this knowledge that it was a dangerous act and could take life? So here, without any iota of doubt, the answer is culpable homicide not amounting to murder. This is the exact illustration. You can see to it in your copy of the Indian Penal Code. Alright, and you can see it online as well. Priya promises Shivi that she will obtain a public employment for Shivi, and in return Shivi agrees to pay rupees 10,000 to Priya. The contract is, you tell me what is it? Here the object is unlawful, so of course it has to be a wide contract, right? An accident physically unavoidable is a good defense under the law of torts. If you read the facts, I'm sure all of you have already read it because you appeared for the examination. So here is a case of inevitable accident. There's no question of act of God, there's no question of self-defense, right? Many of you got confused between necessity and inevitable accident. Stick to the principle. What does it talk about? It talks about inevitable accident, right, or unavoidable accident. Both of them are one and the same thing for law of torts, right? So of course your answer is B, inevitable accident. Indian Constitution provides for freedom of speech and expression to all of its citizens. The freedom is subject to reasonable restrictions like public order, etc. This is basically inspired from the Anuradha Bhasin case, the right to internet. And here the answer is, of course, option A. There is reasonable restriction of the freedom of speech, and such action of central government can be justified on the grounds of internal security. And even if you read the judgment very carefully, that is not in contradiction with what you read here in option A. So that is the answer. No man should be put in peril twice for the same offence. Law of double jeopardy in Article 22 of the Indian Constitution, isn't it? This is Article 22 of the Indian Constitution. Alright, that is absolutely okay. Atul was driving his truck and whatever, I'm sure you're aware of the details. Choose the correct derivation. Alright, chose. This is the answer. And why is this the answer? Is about double jeopardy. When did the first jeopardy take place? Was he convicted? Was he convicted? No, he was not convicted. Somehow he had managed to get scot-free. So the law of double jeopardy will apply once the first jeopardy has taken place. Alright, so straight away answer D. A and B got married 10 days after the marriage. I'm sure you have read the question. Okay, so those people who haven't read it can pause the video and read it. Now here, even if I haven't read the facts, I can get the answer. Look at the options, they're very interesting. No, a wife cannot file a case against her husband. Okay. Yes, A beats B without remorse. Okay, so if A beats B with remorse, he probably cannot be prosecuted, right? So this cannot be the answer, this cannot be the answer. Okay, no, as husband and wife is considered as one unit, and any property within the control of A is also under the control of B. So what is the problem? You think this can be the answer? So why do I even need to read it? Yes, A intentionally put B in fear and dishonestly caused B harm. Does he committed extortion? Of course, yes. So your answer is option B. Mr. N speaks ill of the business which Mr. O is doing. It amounts to defamation. Absolutely. Absolutely. Slander is actionable per se. Of course, even in Indian law it is. And moreover, this question seems to have been inspired from the Rahul Gandhi case. I'm sure you have watched the video in which I had asked you to do the details on defamation. Alright, and here the answer is both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion, of course. Right before a board exam, Sayukta's mother promises to buy her a bike if she scored an overall A+. Sayukta scores an A+, but now her mother refuses to buy her a bike. Can Sayukta sue her mother? First of all, do you think it's a contract? Was there any intention to get into a legal relationship? If there was no intention to get into a legal relationship, it reduces to a mere promise. I'm sure parents of many of you, since you just appeared for class 12 examinations, must have made certain promises to you. Okay, you cannot sue them in court of law. So here the answer is no, there was no valid contract since there was no legal intention to enter into a contract. A company XYZ Ltd has been accused of violating the Environment Protection Act 1986, causing pollution in local river. According to the principle of strict liability, what is the company's liability in this case? We know in case of strict liability, intention does not matter. So you could do it in probably 5 seconds. That the answer is B. Company is liable for any damages caused by its action regardless of intent. Indian government is obligated to foster respect for international treaty obligations. Absolutely all right. And here, you needed to be careful here. Article 51C, a DPSP, imposes a duty upon the state to respect international law. Can DPSP, any DPSP, impose a duty? No, it's just a moral obligation. It's a moral obligation. It's a moral obligation. Right? So this appears to be correct, but is actually not, and is not correct because of this. DPSP imposes a moral obligation. So here your answer is assertion is correct, but reason is incorrect. How many of you got it right? Please do let me know in the comment section. A delivers several promissory notes to the government treasury for cancellation and consideration into one note. So A is the bailer and government is the bailee. Isn't that very obvious? But the government servant misappropriated the notes. A sues the state as bailies in the current transaction. Of course, he has all the rights to, right? The individual servant should be liable as bailee and not the state. Why? Individual servant happened to be there because of being a government servant. A hadn't gone to that individual servant in his personal capacity. A had gone to the government. It is not a contract of bailment as it does not satisfy the requirement of bailment. Which requirement? Okay. It is a contract of bailment, of course it is, and hence the state is responsible for a reasonable care. Yes, yes, and yes. So that's your answer. We do not remember the 12th question, but it concerned Nikhil and a car. Nikhil had to pay the installment till he was in the possession of the car was probably the answer. I put a star mark here. Why? Because I do not remember the exact question and the exact option. So take it with a pinch of salt. Okay. And. If you remember the exact question, please put that in the comment section of this video. If you like this effort, what stops you from giving us a thumbs up, sharing it with your friends as well as enemies, subscribing to CLAT 100 if not already done, and pressing the bell icon hard so that we keep you updated. Alright, all the best.